So I'm already seeing commercials about 5G phones and 5G networks, and speed is king, but what's it all mean? Hey everyone, and welcome! This is the Commotion, and I'm Roshan Joshi, and today on Reality Rants we are talking about 5G, the 5G network, and kind of like what it means and where it stemmed from. But first, make sure to hit that like button. It definitely helps us out a lot. If you aren't already subbed, I know a lot of the people that view our videos aren't subbed with us. Please hit that sub button. And if you like any of our content, you want to keep up with us, hit that notification bell. People are always asking when we post videos. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but you can keep up by hitting that notification bell. So get at it. So 5G, it's something we've all been hearing about a lot. It's something that it's been in our recent news. It's been in recent conspiracy theories. What is 5G? So essentially 5G is the next wave of networks that devices will live on. So currently a lot of devices are living on that 4G LTE network, and that is very cluttered at the moment. So they are expanding the pool, and they're opening up a 5G network, which sits on another end of that radio frequency spectrum, but we'll go over that relatively soon. So I've already been seeing commercials about phones that have 5G, networks, carriers that have 5G, the typical network carriers like Verizon, Sprint, AT&T, all of them. And obviously it varies upon different carriers, how good they actually have their network. But we're gonna kind of go through 5G. First, what's the G? So G just stands for generation. We have lived through 4 and now we're going through 5 generations of wireless network. So 1G brought us cell phones, like back in the 80s. So that old big brick that we used to see, that was the original 1G network. And then came 2G. So 2G brought us texting and SMS. So back in the day, texting, you would send an SMS, which was a text. It also brought us MMS, which was like picture messages. So that was on the 2G network. That's when things kind of started getting a little bit crazier, guys. And then 3G brought us online. So our smartphones, that's when Apple really started to sink their teeth into the phone industry. That's where we all started seeing the iPhone, guys. So that 3G network allowed us to expand into that, the internet space. I mean, 2G gave us basic internet, but 3G allowed us to expand into that internet space. And then 4G is what we all see now, which is that 4G LTE network, which is just the speed. They brought the speed along onto it. So why 5G? Technology is integrated into the everyday life. I mean, every single person, at least across the board for the most part, majority, everybody's got an Alexa or an Echo or something, an automated assistant that they talk to, whether it be in their house or in their car, or if you got a lot of money and you're a weirdo, on your microwave or your toothbrush. But it's here. And it is, that assistance, that electronic assistance is here to stay. And 5G is the foundation of essentially what the internet will be, along with the new things that are going to come into play. Also, VR is definitely going to be very heavily based within that 5G network. But then other stuff like automobiles and self-driving cars, or doctors that are doing surgery from a remote distance. All of that comes into play because all of this stuff lives on the internet, and your 5G, your 4G, your network, the amount of data that you're receiving allows you to do more stuff. So whether it be 1G or whether it be 5G, at the end of the day, they all live on the same thing, which is an electromagnetic frequency spectrum. And they're becoming pretty crowded spaces. A lot of devices are living on that 4G network right now because everybody kind of converted over. They built the towers, the cell towers everywhere for it, and it's a very crowded space. So they're expanding the pool and going to the 5G pool. So that larger bandwidth allows more space, so more data can travel through, and it won't slow you down. I'm not gonna go too far into the radio frequency spectrum because I'm not a scientist, and me sitting here trying to explain it to you, you're just gonna be more confused. But what I can say is the basics. So on the spectrum, we all kind of know about radiation. We all know that there is dangerous radiation and a dangerous level on the frequency spectrum, so to say. So you have dangerous ones like gamma, obviously gamma radiation, X-ray radiation, ultraviolet radiation. This is all stuff that we know is bad for you. This is all stuff that we know is potentially detrimental to your health. But that's not to say that there aren't safe ones. So we're starting with gamma, then you hit X-ray, then you hit ultraviolet, and then from there, the next lighter version would be infrared, which is very safe for us. It's what all of our remote controls for our TVs use, as like a very basic example. Microwaves, which we all know microwaves as our microwave, but cell phones also ran on that microwave frequency back in the 80s. So some food for thought. And then after that microwave frequency level, you have radio waves. Pretty much our AM and our FM, something that we've had foundationally within our infrastructure of most countries for probably over 100 years now. So we know that radio waves are safe. We know essentially that microwaves are relatively safe because those were cell phone radiations. And we know that infrared is safe because we use infrared throughout our life normally. So there isn't a lot in science right now. I've done like little bits of research. Also, not a scientist, do your own research. So as far as I know from the research that I've done, which I have done some research, it doesn't seem as if 5G has like a health impact on anybody. From the studies that have been done, but once again, research that on your own. Science is saying that the biggest concern is, so science is saying that like the biggest risk is like the exposure to the frequency threshold, which is gonna be the thermal threshold, aka how hot it's gonna get potentially when it's working hard. But as far as like cancer and stuff like that, there's nothing to be proved that it has caused cancer in human beings or that it increases your risk in cancer. So that's kind of what I figured from that, but once again, do your own research. So why is everybody trying to move into this 5G network? Why are we seeing cell phone carriers make that like a more regular thing? I know that I mentioned that it's turned into a very crowded space. So opening up that new network would allow more space to allow more data, but the amount of speed that is being boasted is wild, guys. They're saying like you could download like an HD movie in a second. They're boasting 2 gigs per second of data that's being downloaded or transferred. So 2 gigs a second, that literally means you can get like a season within seconds, a season of your TV show within a minute if you really wanted to. So they're boasting these crazy speeds because now you have a new funnel of new bandwidth for all this data to travel through, and it's very uncluttered. But what else does this mean? Well, like for infrastructure, obviously I kind of mentioned like the self-driving cars. I mentioned the fact that there's medical implications that, you know, you can do more medically for people to be able to help or have science help. But I also want to see like that like Jeff Bezos city that he's trying to make. Definitely it's gonna incorporate something of that nature where everything is 7G. I don't know, Amazon does things real crazy, so they're gonna go above and beyond, but they're definitely gonna have their own network protocol. Maybe I'll cover that one day. So we know that we can have like crazy speeds for 5G, but how practical are we really talking here? So in practicality, or just even to explain it, there are 3 types of bands that you have to know, which is, band is just the speed in which you're receiving this information, the data, the movie that you're trying to download. So you have low band, which is a little bit under 1 gig, which is obviously the slowest, but it has the largest range. It covers the most area. Next, you have mid band, which is faster but a shorter distance. And then obviously, to top it off, you have the high band, or the MM wave, which you'll kind of see moving forward within your normal world when people talk about 5G more often in life. And that is the shortest distance, but it is the fastest network. So 5G is essentially saying they are 10 times faster than the current LTE. But that's like different amongst different carriers. So I know that Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, all these guys are going to have different interpretations of their 5G depending on how many towers they have or depending on how many repeaters that they have. 5G signal, that frequency can be blocked very easily. So they would need to put like a bunch of little towers everywhere to be able to make it the coverage the best. And that is kind of hard and expensive. So I'm not going to go through which carrier has the best because I don't really know, and that's on their own infrastructure. It could be one thing right now. I could say like Sprint has the best right now, or T-Mobile has the best right now, and then in a year Verizon will have taken it over. So the coverage is key, and that is definitely something you want to look into before you start grabbing these 5G phones. So once again, guys, we are moving into that 5G world. Speeds are going to be faster, infrastructure is going to be made. So I definitely suggest doing your own research, checking it out, kind of looking into it for myself. I thought it was real cool. So definitely give it a view or a little bit of research on your own. And tell me what you guys think. What do you think about this new world that's being created? The amount of speeds, the amount of data, the amount of technology that's going to be incorporated, it's going to evolve from this is going to be very interesting, very, keep an eye out for what's going on next, you know? And that's it for me, guys. Once again, make sure you're hitting that like button. Please hit that subscribe button, and to keep up with us, hit that notification bell. This is Reality Rants on the Commotion. I'm Roshan Joshi, and once again, stay blessed.
Grinding my whole life. Stop that. Grinding my whole life.